Doug, if this decision is indeed finalised next month, what will be the immediate impact?
Well, to quote the president of the Center for Reproductive Rights, Annette, it would be the most damaging setback for the rights of women in the history of the United States. And it's fair to say she's not exaggerating here. Justice Samuel Alito, in drafting what is this opinion, a majority opinion, it's just a draft. The decision's yet to be finalized. Things could change. But he basically said in this draft that Roe v. Wade, which is that landmark ruling which enshrined a woman's constitutional right to abortion in the U.S. Constitution, basically he said it was egregiously wrong from the start. He took aim at every single plank that it was based on the ruling, saying its reasoning was weak and everything else was weak along the way. I will note that Roe v. Wade in 1973, and we don't talk about this as much, was upheld, was reaffirmed by a subsequent ruling many years later, 1992, which basically said it added to the abortion rights, essentially. So these two rulings have gone hand in hand over the years. What will happen immediately is that we have seen already more and more restrictions over the past years and decades on a woman's reproductive rights in many states. They will move more towards outright bans. You will have the decision on the legality of abortion essentially moving from the center, from the federal level, to individual states. Alito would write in his opinion essentially giving the power back to representatives of the people to make that decision, but really basically putting it in the hands of politicians. And what you're really going to have is right now roughly half of all states in the United States are expected to outright ban on abortion. You have a lot of states, mostly in the South and the Midwest right now, which have partial bans on most forms of abortion, except in dire cases where a woman's life is in threat or perhaps where the woman has been raped. But all those other cases, there are outright or moving towards outright or partial bans. Under Roe v. Wade, abortion is allowed up to what is called the viability level, which is 23 weeks of pregnancy. A lot of states, a couple of states, including Mississippi, and that's what this case was based on, have tried to enact laws making a pre-viable abortion illegal. That is at 15 weeks. That's 9 weeks before, the 8 weeks before the current viability levels. This is what we're going to see more and more of, and this is going to make abortions more dangerous. It's going to have unfair burden on poorer women who often don't have the money to drive to states where it's easier to get an abortion. So you will see more injury and possible death among that part of the population.
Now, what sort of action are individual states likely to take? We've already seen, for instance, California offering itself to be a sanctuary state for those needing an abortion.
Absolutely. You've already had, and I mentioned that most of the restrictive states are across the South and the Midwest, but in vast swaths of the U.S., the West, the Northeast sections, you've had states moving to already expand or pass laws in their state legislative chambers on the state level to expand and protect the right to abortion. In some cases, in the right to Vermont right now, you have a law on the books. They're moving towards an actual amendment to the state constitution to enshrine a woman's right to abortion. They're anticipating the dismantling of Roe v. Wade. You have other states which are trying to expand the list of those who are authorized to perform abortions, giving women more options among people who are trained to perform that procedure. We can expect to see more of the same right now as states are going to start to scramble to get into their own state laws before it's banned on a federal level, potentially by the Supreme Court.
And of course, in a broader sense, what does this decision mean in terms of its impact on America's broader social and legal landscape?
Well, obviously, depending on which side you ask, but those who are guardians of the so-called right to privacy, and abortion is obviously emblematic of the laws of a woman's right to privacy and to do with her body as she chooses, it's going to expand to any laws that touch on that. So we could be looking at potential, and remember, the Supreme Court now is hewed in the direction of staunch conservative 6-3. We could see many more decisions taking direct aim at things like same-sex marriage, gay rights, contraceptive treatment, fertility rights, even interracial marriage. All of this could be fair game under a court that considers abortion fair game, targeting Roe v. Wade. If they can do that, many fear, they can go after other laws, even though Justice Alito was very careful to say in his decision, this will not have an impact on other social rights and other laws right now. This is purely an abortion case.
Doug Herbert, thank you for that.